All right, guys. So the audio for the whole undercard got ruined, unfortunately. So I just uploaded it without the audio. This is going to be the first part of the video that has any audio, or I might just leave this for the first part of a new episode, or the episode could just continue and this fight could be a part of that episode. But either way, there's going to be a section of this video that just has no noise because the audio for that part was just unrecoverable. But I went back in and finagled with the audio, and now it should sound better. Uh, so here it is. Here it is. The main event of the history of the entire universe and the entire history of mankind. Andy Flick the Switch Fitch versus Tony the Real Deal Seals. And this is going to be absolutely no fun. And by that, I mean it's going to be very, very fun. It's going to be no fun for either man in the ring. They're going to take damage. They're going to get beat up. This should be an absolute battle. And we're going to break this thing down right now. Both of these guys can turn out the lights. Both these guys can knock you out. Don't be fooled by Tony Seals' 11 punch power. He is a very, very real power threat. And Andy Flick the Switch Fitch is called that for a very real reason. He can flick the switch at any moment and turn your lights right out. No questions asked. But Tony Seals is by far the better pressure fighter, the more aggressive fighter, the fighter with the better stamina and the better hands. And that goes a long way. But Fitch is renowned for his ring IQ and has more championship experience. It is worth noting that in the script of the middleweight division, Tony Seals is more seen of as a title level challenger at this point, being higher ranked. This is a little bit of a step down and a risk for him fighting a two-time title challenger in Andy Fitch at this point in his career, when there are plenty of other options out there for him to fight and boost his title status in the middleweight division. Both of these men have fought for the middleweight title. Andy twice, Tony once. They've lost all their opportunities. Actually, never mind. I keep saying that Tony Seals has fought for a belt. If you're a loyal fan, you are yelling at me right now because Tony Seals has never fought for a belt. It's a little ridiculous that he hasn't. So it's more so that he's taking this fight to just sort of say how many of the top middleweight contenders and middleweight title challengers do I have to fight before you understand that I'm legit? And I think a lot of people would look at this Tony Seals fight and say he is taking a step down to fight Andy Fitch when he doesn't have to. And that Andy Fitch actually stands a lot more to gain in this fight than Tony Seals. But it would be a very impressive win for Tony Seals. And there is no title shot for Tony Seals coming yet. I think that's because they're scared of him. You guys can think whatever you want to think. But maybe a win over Flick the Switch would send Tony Seals up to over 1 million fans, be our first fighter with over 1 million fans. But I'm going to stop putting it off, and we're going to fire up this fight and see who wins. The long-held debate. Could this be a one-sided beatdown for the real deal, or will it be the start of a beautiful rivalry between Tony Seals and Andy Fitch? It's been a long time coming. The main event of the evening. Round one. No intros, baby. This isn't a championship fight. This is just a regular good old scrap, and it's the first power punch from Andy Flick of the Switch Fitch. Out of the gates, but Seals answers back. Fitch still doing the better work. There's a power punch from Seals. A big combo from Seals. We've got about a minute left. 2 solid punches from Seals. A big one through his defense, though, from Fitch. A nice 1-2. Pretty heavy damage on Seals already. That's a good first round from Andy Fitch. That's impressive. This is a 12-rounder. And this is for the North American Regional Middleweight title. It's for Andy Fitch's North American Regional Middleweight title. I completely skipped over that. That is another big reason why Tony Seals is taking this fight, so that he can get that belt. He's already very respected in the middleweight division, and there's why. There's that hand talent. There's a knockdown. Big round for Fitch and for Seals, and Fitch didn't see that one coming. He gets back up and gets bombed on again. He needs to start landing something as Fitch finally standing up to Seals in this round. He can even up the punch count all he wants to. That doesn't mean he won the round. Seals with a big knockdown. This may still be an even fight, but Fitch the more damaged fighter. Oh, not anymore. Good work to start the round from Andy. Seals landing back. This is a pretty explosive fight so far, just like I predicted. I haven't done any strategizing. These guys are kind of going at each other. They're both damaged. Seals with a big cut over his right eye. Fitch is cut too, but the cut isn't as bad. They're both over 60% damage here only in the third round. Seals the fighter with more energy. Seals puts Fitch up against the ropes and bangs some big shots on him. He's very damaged, Fitch. Seals still working. He's got 30 seconds to do more. A big shot to the head. Successive shots. Another cut opens up for Fitch. Another big blow on Fitch from Seals. Seals continuing to work, and he ends round 3 with a big flurry, and that was a big, impressive round from Tony Seals. Go to the body has been a disaster for us on this card. You didn't watch a couple of the previous fights. We had a couple of losses. I forget which fighters. Cottrell was one of them, where we put them on go to the body, and they went to the body and got absolutely hammered for it. So I'm going to kind of do that with Seals here because he does have a reason to go to the body to get that big energy advantage. And Fitch is on the edge. It could get him a finish, actually, going to the body right now. But it could also open him up at 69%. So there's a realistic possibility that Andy Fitch can find a shot here and end Tony Seals' night if he goes to the body. So I just want to be entertained. So far, it's a good move for Fitch, and there's big damage. Sorry, for Seals, and it's a big damage on Fitch. Still up at 77%. Still the less energized fighter, but he's taking shots from Seals, obviously. He's starting to work back, but Seals has been able to go to the body. And I'd imagine that Fitch is going to be worse for wear. He's already worse for wear. He's finally throwing back, putting some damage on Seals. He's trying to get back in this round. A couple combos, he is back in the round. There is damage on Seals. Now Seals is on the back foot. He needs to answer back, and he doesn't. That's a Fitch round. And he goes to the body, and it doesn't really do too much either. We're going to put him back on natural style. These two guys are just going at each other on natural style. I kind of like it. They're sort of gradually working that damage up. Starting at about 40% now damage each round and working up into the 70s and 80s, it seems like. Now they're at around the 60s. They're going back and forth. It's still an even round. This is Fitch's round mostly so far. So even. Seals, big shot. It's not going to be enough to finish it, and it's just a dead heat of a round. Seals with 2 big shots again. Fitch with a big shot. Seals with a big shot. And I'd say that's a Tony Seals round. And man, oh man, is this a close fight. It is only the start of round 6. This fight isn't even we're halfway to being over with a 10-round fight. Big shot from Fitch. Fitch finally standing up to the opposition here in this round. It's another Fitch round. He's done a great job. It's not great work from Seals. There's not a lot of volume. I want to see work from Seals there. It's a round from Fitch. And see, look, it looks like Fitch is up 4-2. I don't know what you guys are looking at. You could, yeah, oh, sorry, this is the knockdown for Seals. So, yeah, it's 3-3. On my scorecards, at least, it's 3-3 right now. Fitch is less energized, and it's tough to say who's more damaged. Seals seems to have done the more damage, but that didn't reflect by the end of that round. Now it's pretty much even. With Seals, the more energetic fighter, taking the initiative in this round. It's been kind of slow the last 2 rounds, relatively. Feel like not as much output. Fitch is the one struggling with output in this round, however, and that's not good. He's on low energy. There's a big shot. Big lead hook. A big punch from Fitch. Nice combo. Fitch lands a single punch back. But it's combos from Seals and single punches from Fitch there, which stylistically makes a lot of sense. I would say that this is a perfect time for Seals to jab and move. Force Fitch to chase him a little bit. And try to drain out the last of that energy. Seals is not very damaged right now. That low punch output has allowed Seals to shake off some of the damage that made this fight a dangerous proposition for him in the earlier rounds. I'd think he's a much more comfortable fighter right now. Fitch is going to have to do a lot of work to get Seals damaged and chain a lot of good things together in a way that he doesn't seem capable of right now, throwing these big single shots. And Seals takes that round. And this is going to start turning into a pile-on pressure affair for Tony Seals, who's chasing the victory and is well ahead in this fight. Fitch is going to need to counterpunch as Seals chases the victory. We may want to put Fitch on cover up sooner rather than later. But I am going to manage the tactics of this fight mercilessly. I have no sympathy for Andy Fitch. I'm going to keep having Seals come after him if that's the appropriate thing to do. And I'll put it on cover up when I would put it on cover up if I was just normally coaching Andy Fitch. Which, yeah, I think we do go cover up this round, and I'm going to stay just cover up versus pile on pressure. Let's see if Andy Fitch can get a knockout. Let's see if he can get a big counterpunch in. Seals is going to keep chasing. Is he going to realize that Fitch is just covering up and isn't going to box too much? Fitch lands a couple shots. It's important, but he needs to get rounds, and I don't really know if he has a way to do that. Seals is just going to keep landing on him. More big shots. Seals is back against the ropes. Fitch is back against the ropes, but he lands a big shot. There's been no cuts in the fight recently, but that's because the volume has gone way down. Seals with another big round win. He's going to head back to natural style. And Fitch, I don't know if Fitch, what would be a good strategy for Fitch here while he's tired? He's got good punch accuracy. He's aggressive. He's got good ring IQ. I weirdly think he could weirdly pile on pressure. Or he could do something kind of energetic. Smother inside isn't smart. He'll get hit. I don't think he doesn't have the energy to jab and move. Smother inside saves energy. Go to the body. I feel like smother inside takes less energy, but he's going to get hit doing that. Plant your feet. He's also going to get hit, but he'll hit harder if they plant their feet, but he also will lose. Because Seals is also insanely aggressive, so that's not a good idea. I think he needs offense late in the fight. If there's going to be a round where he puts pressure on Seals, it'll be this one. So it's a little weird, but Fitch is going to try to pile on pressure, and let's not pretend like that isn't Fitch's game. As Fitch is going to pile on pressure and Seals is going to natural style, and we'll see what happens. Should be interesting. Let's see if Fitch really decides to go out and how much he has in the tank, if anything at all. 4 punches from Fitch there in the first minute. Seals, big one to the head. Big power shots from Fitch. It isn't super heavy damage to Seals yet. There it is. He's starting to damage Seals. Seals comes back with 1, but this is a Fitch round so far. Seals is going to need to find some combos to get back in it. Now he's damaging Fitch. At the end, Fitch with a nice 1-2, and he should have taken that round. But it's unquestionably going to be a pile on pressure from Seals. And, yeah, it's got to be a go for broke from Fitch because he's 5 rounds. He's won 5 rounds. This is a tough call from Fitch. In real life, it would depend on whether or not his corner thinks he's ahead or behind in the fight. I would think that his real corner might think he's behind. I know most of you guys are screaming for me to go for broke. He's got 17 aggression. He's got 17 ring IQ. He's not a bad go for broke fighter. I think he may have even won fights on go for broke before, but he's also a damaged fighter. And Seals is painfully aggressive, and when you do go for broke, he doesn't stop coming forward, so he's really going to not stop getting hit. I think you could see Seals land like 40 punches on him if we go for broke. I think there really is that possibility, so I don't think that's that smart for Fitch. He doesn't have the energy to jab and move, though. And pile on pressure versus pile on pressure. I just don't feel like that would be that smart, because Seals is piling on pressure. I think Fitch is just going to natural style. Hopefully he counter punches. Let's see. It's a good start to the round from Fitch. Fitch still boxing, but there's the big shot from Seals. And that might seal it. Pun very much intended. 6, 7. Oh, Fitch is up. Okay. There's another clean shot, but he's damaged. Seals landing big combinations on Fitch now. Is he going to knock out the flick of the switch, or can he flick the switch? Does Fitch have anything left? It's big pressure from Seals. Now I wish I would have put Fitch on go for broke. Maybe he'd have something to say to this. He doesn't have anything to say to this. And the ref steps in and stops it. And Tony, the real deal Seals, is very much still the real deal in the middleweight division. That was a very impressive last round. He hunted that win and got it. And Fitch was on. Let's be real. It might not matter what we put Fitch on in terms of strategy. He did a nice job to win that 11th round. That was gritty and tough, but he hadn't won a round since the 6th. He's been tired for a long time. And Seals finally got in there and stopped it in the 12th. And that was a very fun fight. And it ended about the way I thought it would. Applause to both those guys. I think Andy Fitch is about a loss away from that weight change we were talking about with him. I don't think that was that bad of a loss, though. That was a very good. He gave Tony Seals a very, very good fight. And Tony Seals is, by the way, the new North American middleweight champion.